Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a skill that is absolutely fundamental for any nurse: auscultation. It's so much more than just putting a stethoscope on someone's chest. It's really about learning to decode the vital messages, the stories that our lungs are telling us with every single breath.
So yeah, that question on screen, it's a really good one to think about. If you could really listen to the lungs, what story would they tell? Because every single patient's lungs have a story. Is it a story of everything being nice and clear and open? Or is it a story of inflammation, maybe fluid, or some kind of obstruction? Your stethoscope, that's your key to hearing that story. And learning these sounds, it's basically like learning a whole new language that can point you directly to what's going on.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds complicated, right? But trust me, the secret to really getting a handle on lung sounds is to start with a super simple framework. Every single abnormal sound you're going to hear, we call them adventitious sounds. It fits into one of two big buckets. That's it, just two. And getting this part down is absolutely the most important first step. And here they are: discontinuous versus continuous. That's our simple framework. Discontinuous sounds are exactly what they sound like. They're short, they're explosive, little popping noises, kind of like static on a radio. On the other hand, continuous sounds are longer, more, musical. Think of a single note on a flute or even a deep groan. From here on out, every single sound we talk about is going to fit nicely into one of these two categories. All right, so let's jump right into that first category: discontinuous sounds. These are those sharp on-again, off-again noises. What's happening is that air is trying to force its way into airways that were snapped shut. Yeah, you can really just think of them as the pops and clicks of the lungs. So first on our list, fine crackles. You might also hear them called rails. These are high-pitched, super short popping sounds. And here's the key: you're going to hear them when the patient breathes in, and they don't go away if you ask the patient to cough. That's a huge clue. And I gotta say, I love this analogy. It is just a fantastic way to burn this sound into your memory. Seriously, if you can, try it right now. Take a little strand of hair and just roll it between your fingers right next to your ear. Hear that? That soft little crackle? That is so close to what fine crackles sound like. So what's actually going on in the lungs to make that noise? Well, you've got these tiny little airways that have collapsed, and when the patient breathes in, air forces them to pop back open. Pop! And that's the sound. You'll hear this a lot in things like pneumonia or heart failure. Oh, and here's a quick pro tip. There's something called atelectatic crackles. They sound really similar, but here's the difference: they actually disappear after the patient takes a few deep breaths. You often hear them in people who just woke up, so they aren't necessarily a bad sign. All right, next up in that discontinuous family, we have coarse crackles. And let me tell you, these are a totally different animal. They are loud, low-pitched, and they have this bubbling, gurgling sound to them. And another huge difference from fine crackles is the timing. You'll usually hear these right at the beginning of the breath in. And here is another awesome way to remember this sound. If fine crackles are like rolling hair, coarse crackles are like ripping open Velcro. You know that sound? It's way rougher, much louder, just a totally different vibe. So what's the cause here? Simple: secretions. We're talking mucus, fluid, that kind of thing. This is the sound of air bubbling its way through all that gunk in the bigger airways, like the trachea. And that is exactly why you hear it when there's a lot of fluid involved, like with pulmonary edema or really bad pneumonia. Okay, let's just do a quick side-by-side so this really sticks. Pitch: high for fine, low for coarse. Timing: late in the breath for fine, early for coarse. And the quality? Think a delicate pop for fine and a rough gurgle for coarse. If you can just remember those three things, you'll be golden when you're trying to tell them apart at the bedside. All right, our last discontinuous sound is the pleural friction rub. And this one is different. It's this grating sound, and it kind of feels like it's right under your stethoscope. And the huge giveaway? You hear it when the patient breathes in and when they breathe out. That timing is everything. What's causing it is the pleural layers. They're supposed to be slippery, but when they get inflamed, they get rough and they just rub against each other. And yeah, another great way to imagine this sound: think of two pieces of leather rubbing together. That creaking, grating noise, that's a pleural friction rub. And a lot of the time, this also comes with a sharp pain when the patient takes a breath, which is another really big clue for you. Okay, let's switch gears. We're moving on to our second big bucket: the continuous sounds. Remember, these are the ones that are connected. They're musical. No popping here, just flowing sound. You can pretty much call this whole category the wheezes and groans of the lungs. The one everyone knows is the high-pitched wheeze. When someone says wheezing, this is usually what they mean: that musical, squeaky sound. You'll sometimes see it described as polyphonic. Don't let that word scare you. It just means you might hear a few different notes at the same time, kind of like a chord on a piano. It's just air whistling through multiple tight spots at once.
So how does this happen? The best way to think about it is like letting air out of a balloon when you stretch the neck. The airways get really narrow, maybe from swelling or constriction, and as air gets squeezed through, the walls vibrate. That vibration is what makes the wheezing sound. It's the absolute hallmark sound of things like asthma or emphysema.
So if we have a high-pitched wheeze, it makes sense we'd have a low-pitched one too, right? This one is also called raunchy, and instead of that high squeak, this is more of a deep snore or a moan. And this sound is monophonic. Again, fancy word, simple meaning. It's usually just one single note, not a whole chord of different ones. Now listen up, because this is a really important clinical tip. Rhonchi are often caused by secretions in those bigger airways, kind of like coarse crackles. So what can you do? Ask the patient to cough. Sometimes that's enough to move the gunk around and the sound will change or even go away for a bit. That's a huge clue that helps you figure out what's going on. Okay, our final continuous sound is stridor, and I need you to listen carefully. This is a sound you can never ignore. It's a very high-pitched, single-note, crowing sound. Two things are absolutely critical to remember. You hear it on the breath in, and it's loudest over the neck, not down on the chest.
And here's why that's so important. Stridor means there's a serious blockage in the upper airway. We're talking the voice box or the windpipe. This could be from severe inflammation, like in croup, or maybe they've inhaled something. A patient with stridor is a patient who is in distress. This is not a subtle thing. This is a potential emergency, and it means you need to act fast.
All right, so we've talked about what these sounds are and why they happen. Now let's get practical and talk about how to listen. Because, knowing the sounds is great, but if your technique is off, you might not hear them correctly in the first place.
These 4 steps are your bread and butter. Number 1, get your patient sitting upright and ask them to breathe through their mouth, just a little deeper than normal. This cuts down on any noise from their nose. 2, use the diaphragm of your scope and hold it firmly on their chest. 3, listen for a whole breath, in and out at every single spot. And number 4, and this is maybe the most important, always compare one side to the other. If they don't sound the same, that's a huge red flag that something's up.
So, I want to leave you with this thought. Auscultation, it isn't just another box to check on your assessment form. It is a seriously powerful diagnostic tool. The sounds you hear, or sometimes the sounds you don't hear, like in a silent chest, that can be the very first clue that something is going terribly wrong.
So look, you've got the framework now. You know the sounds and you know the technique. Those stories inside your patient's lungs, they're just waiting for someone to listen. So the only real question left is, now that you know the language, what are you going to listen for?